Once upon a stupid time, I liked fairy tales. Ah, yeah, what's not to like? The poor kid from nowhere wins the jackpot, while the tilt-nosed snobs get turned into gargoyles. Or worse. But you know what? All those stories stop right there. They never mention what comes later. How your gang changes, how your best friend doesn't end up as your one true love, and they never tell you how your heart's desire might be a dangerous thing. Or in my case, just so damn boring. I scanned the front office of my mother's tutoring shop. The room was tiny and hot. Shelves climbed all over the walls, crammed with boxes, books, scrolls, and jars, and the scent of herbs and paper dust lingered in the air. On the top shelf, a dead stuffed griffin, miniature, curled around a glass vial that glowed faintly silver in the afternoon sunlight. Mame had left me with clear instructions. Review all the homework from yesterday's beginner arithmetic class, mark any corrections, and leave the papers in her basket. I scowled at the stacks of scribbled sheets. The oldest shop cat had built her nest atop them. Shin was ancient, her spine and haunches almost bald, and her teeth mere nubs, but she glared back at me with yellow eyes, as if daring me to disturb her. Right, like I want to. With a sigh, I slapped the toggle switch on the wall. Magic flux buzzed uncertainly into life. The ceiling fan creaked into a slow circle, stirring the hot air like a spoon. Our ancient radio sputtered in time with the magic flux. I fetched brushes and bottles of ink from a closet, then shooed away a grumbling Shin and settled onto the stool behind the counter. From here I could watch for customers while I marked papers. Double duty, as Mame said. I picked up the first sheet. It smelled strongly of cat piss. I scowled at the papers. This is not what I wanted for my life. Once upon a time, I'd been Kai, Prince of the Streets. I liked to brag about fancy dagger strikes, ghost dragons, and knowing where to get the best meat pies in Lóng City. I had my own gang of kids. I had Yun as my best friend and second in command. Then the king of Lóng City declared a contest for his daughter's hand. The winner had to fulfill 3 impossible wishes. If he did, he got 50,000 yuan, plus the hand of Princess Lian. Not just any man could enter, of course. He had to be a prince. Luckily, Yun figured out how to get past the prince part, and I convinced the princess I'd already done 2 impossible things just by getting admitted into the palace. Just as luckily, Princess Lian didn't want a real suitor. Her heart's desire was a year or 2 at the famous university in the Phoenix Empire, where she could study government and politics and all those ruler-type things. That was the 3rd and hardest wish of all. In the end, we, my gang and me, got our money and Lian got her heart's desire. And she called us her truest friends. All that seemed like a different story with different people. I pinched the bridge of my nose and squinted at the homework sheet. As bad as I thought, full of stupid mistakes, just like last week's batch and the week before. My mother ran a tutoring shop in conjuration and mathematics. Her best students got private sessions, but a couple dozen more attended classes where she drilled them in spells and numbers. Basic stuff. Now that I was her apprentice, another so-called reward from that contest, she gave me all the scut work. Thinking of all the other same old mistakes I would find, I spat on the floor, which crackled with a special cleaning spell. If only I had stashed the king's reward in secret. But I hadn't, and I had believed Yun's wonderful description of our lives together as apprentices. We would learn magic. We would save our reward for later. And maybe, just maybe, we'd be more than friends. Okay, she didn't exactly say that, but I remembered the grin on her face as she dared me to follow her into this splendiferous new life. Except now Yun no longer had any time for anyone, and today I was stuck inside this shop. I slid my talk phone from my pocket. If I could buzz up Jing Mei or Gan, or even that toad Dan Zhu, we could make a run through the pots and kettles bazaar, stir up a little trouble. Same old, same old. After that, we could talk about the new old days. There would be plenty of time later to grade these papers. Before my fingers could tap out a single number, a strong piggy order floated past my nose. "You promised Mame to grade those worksheets before dinner?" Chen grunted. Of course Chen knew what I was thinking. He was my spirit companion. Chen had arrived when I was 6 years old, 2 years past the usual age, but that was the first and only time he was ever late. Back in those days, he'd help me play pranks all over Lóng City. Lately, though, he acted more like a nanny than a friend. I didn't promise, I said silently to him. She ordered me to. Does that make any difference? It should. But I could almost hear Mame's soft voice saying, Kai, my son, if you wish to continue as my apprentice, you must show more responsibility. The shop cannot run itself, nor can you learn your lessons by sleeping through them. I shoved the phone back in my pocket and set about dividing the papers by name and grade. Stupid students. Stupid shop. Most days I didn't mind the work, but most days I wasn't stuck in the shop alone, sweating and cranky and bored. Today, Mame had dismissed her regular classes so she could stop for fresh magical supplies, while Yoon was busy on some secret errand of her own. Again.